We have two extremely special guests today who are both enlightened souls, and I'm really privileged to be talking to them and having this conversation on the time to transform. So, Smita ji and Radharani Mataji, thank you so much for joining us on Pavitra today. Smita ji, as you all know, is an accomplished actor, has done television, theater, films, iconic movies that we all know, Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, Sarfarosh, amongst many others. But what we probably don't know is that over the last 35 years, she has embarked on a spiritual quest. She is certified in no less than 35 holistic healing techniques, including Reiki, past life regression, amongst others. She has spoken on the TEDx platform, and today she spends time with college students, conducting workshops with corporates, individuals, and groups, helping them to lead a fuller life. She has evolved and used simple teaching methods to make this happen for a number of people, and we look forward to speaking with her more today. So, thank you once again. Radharani Priya Mataji is the guiding light for us at Pavitra. For the first 15 years of her life, she was an accomplished dancer and represented India in many festivals across the globe. Over the last 2 decades, she also has embarked on a spiritual quest. She has a deep understanding of the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other ancient texts. She has used those teachings to guide others to use the knowledge in their daily lives. She works tirelessly with terminally ill cancer patients with causes such as women empowerment and upliftment, as well as helping the less privileged. So it's a privilege for us to have her on our platform. Thank you again, Mataji, for joining us. Um, so the conversation that we want to have today is about transformation. And Smita ji, I'll start with you. That you went from, or you're still an actor, and you transformed yourself and you took the spiritual path. So why did you feel the need to transform yourself? I mean, and how has it helped you in your life once that you have embarked on this transformation?
Uh, Very honestly, Chetanji, I had no clue of what I was doing when I got into spirituality. I had no clue at all. I didn't know what the difference between spirituality, religion, all these things were in the beginning. And I didn't even know that I want transformation, very honestly. Now, it just so happened over the years, and I kept meeting my gurus, my masters. So they kept on, I did a lot of sadhanas with them. I did a lot of processes in the bargain. I really have worked on myself a lot. I really probably needed to, I don't know. But I really had to work on myself a lot. Then in 2013, I met Dadashriji, Maitreya Dadashriji.
Yes.
That is when I realized what exactly transformation means,
Mm-hmm.
and whether I want it or no. Now, in spite of such a long spiritual journey, I, I was not a transformed human being, which I realized when I met Dadashriji.
Right.
So now, when he explains what is transformation actually, so I was just groping oh these words, big big words like enlightenment and awakening and this and that, and then everybody's running after that, and actually that's not what it is. So what needs to happen is to transform from within. So when I heard this word transformation, the first thing thought that came into my head, ki, wow, I mean, looking different. Like if you're fat, you've gone thin. If you stop coloring your hair, this is what you look
Right.
like. Or any of these things, which was external. You change your house, you buy a new house, and suddenly, like in our field, if I have to say, like actresses when they're doing the first film, they don't. They look very simple, but when you do the second film, there's a whole huge change about them. Oh, then you say, what a transformation! My God, from the first film.
Probably doctors involved there, but we won't go down that
Yeah,
road.
yeah, probably whatever. So that is what I always thought transformation was. Till Dada Shiji explained to me, saying that is not what I'm talking about because that is not a permanent thing, that transformation. What I'm talking of is a holistic, complete transformation which is there within you, which shifts your core, your being, your astitva. That is the shift and the transformation that we are talking about. Now, let me give you an example.
Yes.
Maybe it would sort of help you to understand what exactly I mean. If we take an example of an ant, ant, how much of the ground does ant see? Only this much, right? At the most, this much. But when the bird sees it, he sees it from here. When an eagle sees it, the eagle sees it from this height and a cloud for all those, but that much of a bird's eye view, the whole view. That is how transformation happens. So you start from that ant's perspective, which most human beings are, the narrow perspective of looking towards life, you broaden, 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 and it's a process. You gradually broaden your outlook, and your whole perspective towards life changes. You look at life differently, you look at yourself differently, you look at every human being differently, you look at a situation, an experience differently. That is what we are talking about as far as transformation is concerned.
So, so Smitaji, I wanted to ask you a follow up to that. That you embarked on this transformation journey, like you said, from 2013, and you probably, like you said, it's a process. So you are still transforming and evolving.
Yes.
And while you experience this transformation over the last few years, in dealing with, let's say, a stressful situation or a personal relationship, or empowering somebody else with knowledge, how has it sort of helped you, or how has it sort of benefited you in your daily life?
So it's not that once you're transformed that you won't get angry or you
No.
won't get upset or you don't get hurt. It's not like that.
So,
When you are in the situation, all these emotions are bound to happen to you. You are going to feel bad or hurt or whatever, sad in a situation. But then you have that awareness that you have to zoom out and look at things. So that awareness comes to you very easily and faster, so that you're not in that vortex which is going down. You don't sink in. Like, for example, now in this situation, the COVID situation,
yes.
this is so much right there in our faces. The universe has, the earth, planet earth has brought each one of us down to our knees.
We're all in this together. Yeah, there's no escaping it.
Yeah, no one, every human being on this planet has been, there is a huge transformation if you understand why COVID actually happened. There were some people who could not handle the situation, and they went down the spiral, and some of them ended their lives, and some of them went to depression, all kinds of things. But there is a huge mass of people who transformed. Like they mean, internally, I don't know what happened, but we could see that they changed their jobs. They started doing things which are online. They started, the whole world has become online now.
Yes.
Everything is online. And the planet is very happy without human beings, which we saw.
Yeah, you can see Mumbai's weather and the quality of air has improved and nature is coming back, right?
All over the world. Delhi had zero pollution.
Yes, yes.
All the birds and everything, like near my house over here, we had peacocks walking in some colonies and all that,
Right.
which never happened.
Yeah.
Ganga Maya.
Maybe we need to transform the way we interact with nature as well, so that we can live harmoniously rather than at the cost of.
Absolutely. This is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. So the planet itself has told us what to do and how to transform. So this is the need of the hour now. The earth is transforming, the planet is transforming, it's going through a different dimension towards the fifth dimension. So we need to move with the earth. Now, if we don't match with the frequency of the way the planet is moving and transforming, we are going to be suffering, we are going to be sad, and we'll be stuck there. We will not evolve. So at the moment, there is no choice for humanity but to transform.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thank you. Mataji, you've also had a transformational journey over the last 20 years, spiritual, connecting with yourself, connecting with a deeper understanding of life. So share with us, why did you get into this transformative stage and this journey? And how has that changed your perspective and how has it impacted your life? You're on mute, Mataji, if you could unmute. Thank you. Now you're unmuted. Thank you so much.
So, Chetan, thank you very much for having me over. And Smitaji, thank you for actually sharing the platform with me. I'm a very small person.
Oh my God. So who am I? Please,
so I'm extremely honored to be here with both of you.
Mataji, in that case, I need to be on my way. But please, go ahead.
So, in my case, very similar to like Smitaji was saying, my journey, I was attracted to Krishna since a very young age. In fact, I had a small altar of my own. And my parents were not into it. It's not that I was, because my parents were in it. So, but somehow there was fear connected to the Supreme Lord. Mm-hmm. As if I don't do this, there's something going to go wrong. So that was that was my connection with the Lord, was that, you know, there was fear attached to it, that if I don't do puja in a certain manner, then this will happen. And if I don't, you know, eat something and do my puja. And this, I was a very young girl when,
Right.
you know, all this journey began. But the best part, when I met devotees, you know, Srila Prabhupada's followers like Radhanath Swami Maharaj and, you know, his disciples and everybody, which I came in contact with them. The first transformation for me, which took place, was from fear to fearlessness.
Nice.
You know, because you realized the one of the most important things, one realized that what is our relationship with the Lord and the universe and everybody in connection, you know, in this universe. So there is actually such a loving relationship with them. So there is no scope of, Krishna doesn't say, you know, there is a shloka which he says, in which in the Bhagavad Gita, which you know, he keeps it very simple. It's in the 9th chapter, 9.26. It says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahartam ashnami prayatatmana. So beautifully he says, you offer me a patra, a pushpa, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water with devotion, and I accept it. So we realized here is the Supreme Father, the Supreme Lord. All he's asking for is love.
Right.
And as far as change is concerned, change is constant in our life. There is nothing which remains the same. Each and every molecule in our body, each and everything in our body changes. You know, they say, we talk about, you know, body changing at the time of death, but actually every 7 years, there is not a single atom in our body which is the same.
Wow.
So the change is absolutely constant. And so coming in contact from fear to fearlessness, from you know, basically towards love, and trying to transform the false ego into
Right.
a true ego. So the ego word is not wrong, but yeah, from
So,
false.
Mataji, in the last 20 years, you know, you've obviously been down this path and learned so much. And, you know, in your relationships or in your daily sort of lives, handling situations, let's say the, you know, stressful situation that we are today with COVID, you know, if you were not spiritually inclined, you know, it would have been difficult for you to handle it. So how does it help? I mean, because if I ask someone that, you know, you must go down this path, I mean, so what if I go down the path? You know, what's the uska fayda kya hai? And human beings are you know, उनको फायदे के लिए कुछ करना है. So इसका क्या है जो आपने किया?
There is so much clarity in our life, and you become detached from the results and more focused on goals.
Okay.
So we set goals for ourselves, but the focus shifts. Usually we are more attached to we speak about goals, but we are actually talking about the results. So I want to be a doctor. Why do I want to be a doctor? Not usually because I want to heal people, but because I want some kind of recognition, then I'll get some money. So those are the results for it.
Right.
As far as doctor is concerned, doctor actually only heals. So if we become attached to that's what happened. So from then what happens from in life, then you see obstacles as opportunities, not as roadblocks.
Excellent. That's a good, because life is, you know, problems are there every day in our lives. One has to overcome them and move on to fixing the next one, because there is no perfection in life. So I think that's a very good point, that you look at every obstacle as an opportunity to learn and move forward. You know, the whole pandemic has made us reflect. I hope all of us had some time, unless we were on the front lines, on our needs and our relationships. I think life is much more simpler than we actually make it out to be. You know, our wants from Mother Earth. And like Swetaji, you also said, we have to change as a society. As humanity, we have to evolve. And I think, you know, a lot of people have this fear of spirituality or transformation, as both of you mentioned. And, you know, preconceived notion that, oh, you know, it's very difficult, or bahut mushkil kaam hai. But I think, unless you don't give it a shot, you're never going to realize how enlightening or how uplifting it can be. So I'll start with you, Smita ji. My next question is that, people talk about reflection, gratitude, heartfulness, as you mentioned when we were talking earlier. Why should I show gratitude? Why should I reflect? Why can't the others do it before me? Because if I do it and nobody else does it, to uska fayda nahi hai. Why should I do it? So what's your view on that? Because you've been down this path.
Uh, this question is so funny. I find it really funny. But why should you have gratitude? Like when we were talking earlier, I'll repeat the same example. Chetan, if I give you a glass of water, what will you say? Here, Chetan, please have this water. What will you say?
Yeah. You'll say thank you.
Correct. Now, for a glass of water, you say thank you. If I do some favor for you, a small favor, which is very easily done by me, you'll still say thank you, right? So we say thank you for the smallest things to anyone. A bus conductor gives you a ticket, you also say thank you. Correct? So you say thank you for everyone. Now there is something which is a divine power. You may not believe in God per se. Chalo.
Sure,
I
sure.
accept you're an atheist or an agnostic, whatever. You don't believe in form, is that full problem? But you do believe in some divine power. There is so much of harmony in the disharmony. There's somebody who's a sutradhar in sab cheezon ka. There is some divine power which nobody can refute. Okay.
True.
Now, if that divine power is handling us, doing things for us, and these people, even if you're an atheist, we do say, "Oh, thank God this happened." You use it so loosely, the word. So
Yeah.
there is some power which is doing something for you at many a times. In fact, all the time, the very fact that you're breathing itself is a miracle.
True.
You can't stop breathing on your own, can you? No. And how does the nose know that it has to take in only oxygen and not other gases which are there around? This itself is a big miracle. So who's doing this? How is it happening? So there is something, someone, some power which is handling all this. And if that is the case, why cannot we just say, thank you, I'm breathing. Thank you. I've got lovely food to eat. Thank you. I'm staying in a nice house.
So Smita ji, I'll follow that up. One more question, then I'll ask Mata ji as well, her views on this. That, so let's say if I'm in a family and, I am going through this journey, I'm trying to become more aware of life and become more, connected. Other people don't want to follow me in that journey. So I probably get discouraged saying, और कोई नहीं कर रहा, मैं क्यों करूं? So what is the, why should I do it even if people around me are not doing it?
See what Dadashriji says. His simple explanation for the word spirituality. He says spirituality is simpler than the word simple. This is his quote. It's simpler than the word simple. And I always have felt, dealing with so many people for so many years, because it is so simple, शायद लोगों को नहीं करना है उसको. मतलब ऐसे लगता है कि बस इतना ही करना क्या है. So Dadashriji says, with this transformation, with this topic, he says, all you have to say is just say yes to me, that you are ready to transform. Whether you understand anything about it, whether you want to do it, nothing. करना कुछ भी नहीं ना आपको. Yes बोलो, बाकी का सब मैं करूँगा. अगर ये कोई responsibility ले लेता है, तो मैं क्यों अपना दिमाग चलाऊँ? Why should I bother? So okay, do. Like the worldwide transformation program we're having.
Yes.
You earlier mentioned the registration is just still the 31st. Yeah, and we're having about 22 sessions over 2 years that happen.
Yes.
It is free of cost. So I was the first one to register. I said, yes, please, I want it.
Makes sense. Why not? Absolutely.
Yeah. You are sitting in your house, in the comforts of your own house, and somebody else is doing it for you. You don't have to do anything. No job, no tap, no fasting, no nothing. And if you keep on saying कि अगर सामने वाला नहीं change हो रहा है तो मैं क्यों change हूँ, तो सामने वाला कभी change नहीं होगा. We all know that if something has to change, the change has to be within you only. Now I'll ask you a question, Chetan. Do you have some regular habits?
Yes. Some good and some bad.
Huh?
I said some good and some bad.
Okay, let's take the bad habit. Tell me what is the bad habit you have.
Mataji, I'm the one supposed to be interviewing you now. No, but
just as an example.
No, so I think, well, sometimes I procrastinate, which is probably not a good habit.
Okay. So now I will tell you now, you are this itni umar ho gayi hai. Change. Why do you keep on procrastinating? Have you been able to change that for so many years? No.
Well, not
If
really.
you can't change yourself, which is in your hands, how do you expect to change somebody else?
Right.
Correct? So the change is within you. You change and the world changes around you. Somewhere I read this sentence, I don't remember where I read it. That when you change, the things you look at change.
Correct. Your perspective changes. Yes.
Simple as that. To change करो ना अपने आप को, कितना difficult है.
So thank you, Smita ji. And thank you for putting me on the spot. Mataji, I wanted to ask you on your perspective.
Sorry, I think I got lost in the middle. So
no, you did. So I was asking Smita ji, and good that you're back. That because otherwise Smita ji will keep putting me on the spot. So, but I wanted to ask you. People say that why should I reflect? Why should I, show gratitude when others around me, let's say my family, nobody else wants to, go on to this path. So मैं क्यों करूँ? क्या फायदा? अगर कोई और नहीं कर रहा तो मैं भी छोड़ देता हूँ. So what's your view? I mean, why is it important, and how can you changing sort of help the journey for others?
So when our like Smita ji was talking about, the internal change, the actual change which takes place is internally. So when the internal changes, it definitely reflects on the outside too. Mm-hmm. And if we are looking for happiness, the happiness comes to you only, If we make the first thing which we have to do is start disciplining the mind.
Right.
Like you were talking about procrastinating, that is also a way of the mind to take you, into a direction where it's not required to go.
Absolutely.
And what happens in that? In that, who is suffering? I'm suffering. The other person doesn't suffer. If we are carrying hate in our heart, who is the one who's holding the fire in the hand? Is me. And we keep holding that fire. And then we expect that the other person should burn with that fire, but the other person doesn't burn. So actually, if we do not do this, we are burning ourselves out. Correct. And this is exactly what is happening around us. We are completely burning ourselves out. I was talking about Sindhutai Sakkal, and I'll briefly just talk about her.
Please.
So she got married, had 3 children. By the age of 19, was carrying one. She was working somewhere. She complained against, somebody on top over there. That person came to her husband and said that the child she's carrying is mine. You chuck her out, you kill her, otherwise I will destroy you, and things like that. And ultimately, her husband tried to kill her, put her under, in the cow shed, thinking that people will say she thought she's died, but she gave birth to the child under that protection of that mother cow, who did not let anybody come near her. She herself cut her umbilical cord.
Wow.
And ran away from there because nobody accepted her. And ultimately, I will not go into the details, the kind of obstacles she faced. But because of what she did for herself, she has an orphanage now where there are more than 1,000 children she's looking after. The same lady at the age of 19, because she promised when that mother cow helped her that I will help people. She was about to commit suicide. She stayed in the crematorium. But her greatest victory was, you know what, Chetan? When her husband came to her, absolutely helpless, she accepted him as her son.
Wow.
And she said, my greatest, happiest moment of my life was when I was able to forgive him and see him, that he is the cause of what I have achieved today.
True. Wow. So that's totally changing your perspective and being at peace with.
Yes. So actually, who benefits is not the other people. It's you who benefit. And when you are benefiting, then that's how you're able to benefit so many more.
Correct.
That's a great perspective. Fantastic.
So I think it's a win-win situation. You bring about that change in you, that transformation in you, and how you see the world, how you see situations, and everything else falls into place, not only for you, but for others also.
Yeah, sometimes kind of the challenging situations, they work like catalysts in your life. They help you shift to another thing if you, but luckily for her, there was some grace, Sindhutai, some grace must be there, which made her mind shift and change and transform. But it may not happen to everybody.
Sure.
Some of them might succumb to it. Some of them, I'm sure there are people who probably go through lesser efforts and have succumbed to it and they just give up on life. Coming to this, Pavitra ji, what I was saying is that this is absolutely true for people who are on the spiritual track or in awareness. Awareness hoti hai, to you think or look at things from a different point of view. There's somebody to guide you. There's some spiritual angle to the whole thing. But if we take the masses, आम जनता, who are not aware only how to change, how to do, what to do, तो वो क्या करे? आम जनता जिनको कोई, there is no source only for them, कोई guidance नहीं है, कोई बोलने वाला नहीं है, कोई बताने वाला नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है. So what do they do in situations like this? So many a times, forget the आम जनता, masses who are not educated. I'm not talking of those. There are people, educated, elite family के आए हुए लोग हैं जो they're completely no spirituality, sorry, that's not for me. That is their attitude, so to them it is from my side, I'm requesting, like, you don't have to really do anything. If you feel that there is something which is poking you or bothering you, or there is some sadness, there is some sorrow, you feel कि नहीं, ये मेरा स्वभाव मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता, ये मेरी चीज मुझे अच्छी नहीं लगती, and you don't know what to do about it, I would say this is an appeal to them. Please join on this program that is happening now, which is free of cost, and do it. I mean, it's a 2022 lesson. You do at least first 5 and see what happens to you. Then you continue if you like it, and if you don't, fine. You live
Sure.
life the way you want in that same whatever you're going through. If you're happy with living life with that boj on your heart, आपकी जिंदगी हम क्या करें, है ना पवित्र जी?
So a follow up to that, that many times people are quite content with their life and they're saying, oh, my life is rocking, especially the younger generation, because I see that spirituality sort of dawns on you when you reach a certain age. Spirituality is not cool for the younger generation. So maybe, as we go along our journey of partnership with the Maitri Bodh Parivar Pavitra, and maybe we can figure out on ways to, inculcate this journey from a younger age. And maybe, Mataji and Smitaji, if you could share, how can we, make it cooler or make it more relevant to a younger audience? How can we imbibe this transformation philosophy and the spirituality philosophy in our younger generation? Because I don't know if too many younger people aspire to connect at this
Yeah,
young
but
age.
Chetan, most spiritual organizations, they all have a youth wing. And they have a lot of youth connected to them. So is Maitri Bodh Parivar. We also have a youth wing.
Excellent.
So
Very
what
nice.
Sadarshi ji said, the word spirituality and all this sadhana, वो उनको नहीं अच्छा लगता words, these kind. So we the youth wing does a lot of seva. They organize blood donation camps. They go to the old age homes. They clean up. Last year they did the cleanup of this chowpatty after the Ganesh Utsav. So ये सारी चीजें वो लोग करते हैं. Plant saplings, So they like doing some kind of a seva, like the prayer for Mother Earth. Mother Earth के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा करते हैं. We do a lot for Mother Earth over here. So they do, the transformation is happening through seva. When you're looking at the people who are underprivileged, who are not as lucky as you are, something happens and then shift comes. So our youth wing, the MEP youth wing, does a lot of seva, which is, we have a lot of youth connected to us and they enjoy doing that seva.
That's very nice to know. Mataji, what's your view on how can we get, and I know the Maitri Bodh Parivar is doing a lot of great things with the youth, but what are some of the things that you feel one can do to encourage the youth to get more aware of life in general and get more connected? It's a tough one.
We are actually one of the most important things which we have to do at a very small, at a very micro level is that we become good examples ourselves. So we cannot expect somebody to change when we are not ready to be that change.
Correct. Absolutely.
And when somebody sees us going through that journey and happily going through that journey and how we respond to that, to everything in our life, it's a very natural way of how we can affect the mind of our children.
Correct.
That is at a level of our at a very personal level. But of course, like Smita ji was saying, other things which can be done, they are service oriented. The younger generation is more service oriented. So services are definitely something which can be given to them.
And through the service process, maybe they can get inclined and see the goodness of,
Yes, but we
task.
have to do it first.
Yes.